Have you ever wondered why the most confident, self-assured men often seem mysterious? Why even when they deeply care about a woman, they don't overshare, they don't explain themselves, and they never reveal everything that's going on in their mind? You've probably seen it. A man who doesn't text first, who doesn't chase, who remains calm when others panic. There's a reason behind that. Today we're diving into why high-value men hide certain things from women, and how that restraint and that mystery isn't coldness but power. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." High-value men understand this truth better than anyone. They know that to protect their peace, their mission, and their masculine energy, some things are meant to stay hidden. So before we begin, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and make sure you watch this video till the end, because understanding these 8 hidden things could completely change the way you love and how women see you. In ancient Rome, Marcus Aurelius ruled as emperor, philosopher, and warrior. Despite the chaos around him, wars, betrayal, power struggles, he maintained unshakable calm. He didn't shout about his pain. He didn't broadcast his fears. He didn't seek validation. Instead, he turned inward, to discipline, to clarity, to peace. And that, my friend, is the foundation of the high-value man. He knows that the more he reveals emotionally without purpose, the more power he gives away. Let's now uncover the 8 things high-value men hide from women, and why doing so commands respect, desire, and emotional control. 1. Their emotional chaos. Have you ever had that moment, late at night, staring at your phone, wondering if she even cares? You type a message, delete it, type again, delete again, because deep down you're not just fighting the urge to text her, you're fighting the storm inside your own head. Let's be honest, brother, every man has felt it. That quiet chaos that comes when love starts to slip through your fingers. The overthinking, the fear of losing her, the confusion of not knowing what went wrong. But here's the truth that high-value men, and Stoics like Marcus Aurelius have mastered. You don't show that chaos to the world. You master it in silence. Because here's the hard pill. When you pour every raw emotion onto someone who hasn't earned that access yet, you don't build connection. You lose respect. Think about your own love story. Remember that girl who once made you feel alive? You cared, you tried, maybe even showed her every side of your soul. But instead of appreciating your honesty, she started pulling away. She became colder, distant, confused, and you sat there wondering, what did I do wrong? You didn't do wrong by loving her. You did wrong by showing her your emotional chaos before you mastered it yourself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He faced betrayal, war, and death, yet never let his emotions make him reactive. He journaled his pain but didn't perform it. And that's what the modern high-value man does too. He doesn't fake happiness. He feels deeply. But he doesn't let those feelings make him weak. Because here's the secret. When you stay calm while everything inside you is shaking, you become magnetic. Women feel that energy. It's the quiet confidence that says, "I've been through storms, and I still walk with peace." Let me tell you a story. There was a man who fell deeply in love. He gave everything, his time, his words, his emotions. But when the relationship ended, he broke. Instead of chasing her, he disappeared. He went silent. His friends thought he didn't care, but inside he was rebuilding. Working out, reading, meditating. He was learning what Marcus Aurelius taught centuries ago. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Months later, when she saw him again, calm, centered, at peace, something in her eyes changed. She realized he wasn't angry. He was untouchable. That's the transformation Stoicism teaches. You don't suppress emotion. You stabilize it. You don't pretend you don't care. You learn how to care without collapsing. So next time you feel that emotional storm, the urge to call her, to explain, to break down, a pause, breathe, journal, train, heal in silence. Because when a man conquers his chaos, the world and women feel his peace, and that's when he becomes truly unforgettable. 2. Their next move. Have you ever told someone your plans only to feel your motivation fade right after? You announce, "I'm starting a new business," or "I'm going to level up my life," and for a moment it feels good. You get that small rush of validation. People cheer you on, but then nothing happens. You lose focus and those dreams slowly fade away. It's not that you weren't capable. is that you gave away your power too early. That's why high-value men, and every Stoic who's ever walked with discipline, hide their next move. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." In those words lies the secret of quiet progress. Because when you act silently, you conserve the most powerful energy of all in mystery. Let's make this real. Imagine you're dating a woman. In the beginning, you tell her everything, your goals, your struggles, every detail of what you're planning next. At first she listens, but over time something changes. The mystery is gone. She already knows your path, your thoughts, your next step. And here's the truth. Once a woman feels she's figured you out, the spark begins to fade. Women are drawn to curiosity, to a man who moves like a story she hasn't finished reading yet. A man who surprises her not with promises but with results. Think about it. Have you ever known a man who doesn't announce his plans, yet when he moves and everyone notices? That's the energy of quiet power. That's the man who doesn't need applause to act. One day you might tell her, "I'm working on something important." And when she asks what, you just smile and say, "You'll see." That's not arrogance. That's presence. It shows you're focused and that your actions speak louder than your explanations. And she'll feel it. She'll think about you when you're silent. She'll wonder what you're doing. She'll miss your energy because you're not predictable. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayals, and political games, but he didn't discuss every decision with everyone around him. He planned in silence, acted with precision, and spoke only when necessary. He knew that true power lives in stillness, not in noise. A high-value man follows the same rule. He doesn't need to prove his plans. He just executes them. He doesn't share his next move with people who don't move like him. Because he understands, energy flows where attention goes. And the more people you tell, the more energy you leak. So if you're building something, a business, a better body, a better life, keep it private until it speaks for itself. Let your results be the announcement. When you stay silent, people notice your actions. When you speak too soon, people doubt your actions. So be like the Stoic, calm, deliberate, and unpredictable. Because the less they know about your next move, the more powerful you become in their mind, and especially hers. 3. Their deepest fears. Every man, no matter how confident he looks on the outside, carries fears deep within. The fear of losing someone he loves. The fear of not being enough. The fear of failure, rejection, or ending up alone. You've felt that, haven't you? That quiet ache that hides behind your jokes, behind your confidence, behind the way you say, "I'm fine." But here's what separates ordinary men from high-value ones. They don't let those fears lead their lives. And they don't hand them to women like a burden. See, when a man exposes his deepest fears too early, it doesn't create closeness and it creates imbalance. A woman starts to feel his uncertainty instead of his stability. And the moment she senses that he's seeking safety in her rather than within himself, her attraction slowly fades, not because she's cruel, but because nature wired her to be drawn to strength, to steadiness, to a man who can feel fear, yet still stand firm. Marcus Aurelius knew this intimately. He was an emperor surrounded by enemies, conspiracies, and wars, yet he never allowed fear to dictate his actions. In his private journals, meditations, he confessed that fear often visited him, but instead of running from it, he studied it. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." That's Stoic mastery. He didn't deny fear, he reframed it. Now let's bring this into your story. Think back to that time you were falling for a woman, but something inside made you hesitate. You started thinking, what if she leaves? What if I'm not enough? And slowly your energy shifted. You began over-texting, over-explaining, trying too hard to prove you're worthy. She didn't walk away because she found someone better. She walked away because she felt your fear. That subtle energy that said, "I need your approval to feel complete." But imagine if in that same moment, you had done what Marcus Aurelius would have done. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself, this fear is not me. It's just a passing thought. That's what high-value men do. They feel fear, but they face it alone in silence. They write. They train. They meditate. They master their mind before they speak their heart. And when they do open up, it's not a cry for reassurance when it's a reflection of self-awareness. That difference changes everything. Because a man who hides his deepest fears until he's mastered them isn't avoiding intimacy. He's protecting polarity. He's saying, "I'll meet my demons before I bring you into the battle." and women sense that. They may not understand it consciously, but they feel it. That calm steadiness that says, I've faced my shadows. You can rest in my light. That's why high-value men keep their fears private until they've turned them into wisdom. Because fear exposed too early looks like weakness, but fear conquered in silence becomes power, or their past pain. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that when it ended, it felt like a piece of you was ripped away? You wake up and the bed feels colder. You scroll through old photos and it hurts to even breathe. You try to move on, but every song, every place, every memory whispers her name. We've all been there, haunted by the ghosts of our past pain. But here's what separates a man who stays broken from the man who becomes powerful: how he handles that pain. High-value men don't run from it, but they also don't turn their wounds into stories for sympathy. They don't say, all women are the same. They don't post sad quotes trying to be understood. They process it in silence. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," meaning your pain is not punishment, it's direction. It's the fire that forges you. Let's turn that into your story. Imagine this: you loved a woman with your whole heart. You gave her your time, your loyalty, your energy. You were the man who texted first, who planned the dates, who showed up every time she needed you. But one day she changed. She became distant, colder, unreachable, and when she finally left, it crushed you. For weeks, maybe months. You carried that heartbreak like a wound that never healed. You told your friends. You overanalyzed every message. You replayed every moment trying to figure out what went wrong. But then something inside you shifted. You realized that healing wouldn't come from understanding her. It would come from understanding yourself. That's the moment every high-value man experiences, when he stops seeking closure and starts seeking growth. You hit the gym not to impress her, but to rebuild yourself. You stayed quiet not because you didn't care, but because you were learning to control your emotions. You started reading, reflecting, praying, writing, anything to turn the chaos inside into calm. And slowly that pain began to transform. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal from his closest allies, the death of his children, and the weight of an empire on his shoulders. But he never let those experiences harden him. He didn't walk around bitter or cold. Instead, he used every loss as a teacher. You see, high-value men do the same. They don't erase their pain and they refine it. They let their past make them wiser, not weaker. They take the lessons but leave behind the bitterness. And here's the secret. When you stop talking about your pain and start living above it, women can feel that energy. You become calm, grounded, magnetic, because you've done something most men never do. You've faced your past without becoming a prisoner of it. So the next time you think about that woman who hurt you, don't curse her name. Thank her silently. She didn't break you. She introduced you to the strongest version of yourself. 5. Their financial details. Have you ever tried to impress a woman with what you have, only to feel like she liked the lifestyle more than you? Maybe you took her to fancy dinners, bought her expensive gifts, or talked about your career wins, and for a while it worked. She smiled, she stayed close, but deep down you felt something was off, because when the money slowed, her energy changed. Her texts became shorter, her excitement faded, and suddenly you realized she was never really interested in you. That's why high-value men hide their financial details, not out of paranoia, but out of wisdom. See, Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome and one of the richest men in history, lived like a humble philosopher. He wore simple clothes, ate modest meals, and reminded himself daily, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. He knew that real power isn't about showing what you own. It's about owning yourself, and that's exactly how the modern Stoic man thinks. When you tell everyone about your income, your investments, your new car, or your business success, you may think you're inspiring confidence, but often you're attracting the wrong energy. People start seeing you as an opportunity, not as a man. And women, especially, can sense when a man leads with material display instead of internal confidence. A high-value man understands this game. He doesn't flash his wallet, he radiates value. He knows that quiet stability is far more seductive than loud luxury. Imagine this scenario. 2 men walk into a room. One is wearing designer clothes, bragging about his business, tossing money around to get attention. The other man walks in dressed simply, calm, collected, quietly observing. He's not trying to impress anyone, yet all eyes slowly turn toward him. Why? Because confidence without showmanship feels real. That's the energy of the man who doesn't need to prove anything. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Be indifferent to what makes others vain." The Stoic man applies that even in modern dating. He doesn't measure his worth by how much he can spend on a woman, but by the peace and purpose he carries within. And women, the emotionally intelligent ones, feel that difference immediately. They may be impressed by the man who spends, but they're drawn to the man who saves, plans and leads his life with direction, because money can create attraction, but discipline creates security. High-value men know that when a woman loves you for your resources, she'll leave when they run out. But when she loves you for your calm, your composure, and your drive, she'll stay through every storm. So they stay quiet about their finances. They never reveal how much they make, what they own, or how much they've invested. They let their lifestyle hint, not announce. Because in the end, true wealth isn't what you show, it's what you protect. 6. Their vulnerabilities until they're earned. Have you ever opened up too fast to someone? Told her everything about your past? Your insecurities, your fears, thinking it would make her understand you better? You believed that being transparent would build closeness, but instead of bringing her closer, she slowly began to pull away. You probably sat there confused, thinking, why did she lose interest when I was being real? Here's the truth that high-value men, and Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, deeply understand. Not every woman deserves to see your unguarded soul. Vulnerability must be earned. There's a beauty in vulnerability, yes. It's raw, it's real. But it becomes powerful only when shared with someone who's proven they can handle it, not weaponize it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," meaning, whatever you let influence your heart, shapes your entire being. So if you hand your unhealed wounds to the wrong person, they won't nurture you, they'll define you. Let's bring this into your story. Imagine this, you meet a woman, she's beautiful, smart, attentive, and for the first time you feel safe. You tell her about your struggles, your past heartbreaks, your family issues, your insecurities. You think, she'll appreciate my honesty. At first she listens, but over time she starts seeing you differently. She doesn't look at you as the strong, grounded man she was drawn to. She begins to feel your uncertainty. And in that moment, the dynamic shifts. The mystery fades. It's not because she's heartless. It's because true feminine energy is drawn to emotional safety. When you share your deepest vulnerabilities too soon, you transfer that emotional burden onto her, and she subconsciously feels she must carry both her emotions and yours. High-value men understand this instinctively. They're not emotionless, they just know when to open up and to whom. They observe a woman's reaction to small truths first. How does she respond when you disagree? When you go silent? When you're not perfect? If she reacts with understanding and emotional maturity, that's when she earns access to the deeper layers. Because to a Stoic man, vulnerability isn't about oversharing, it's about discernment. He doesn't say, I'm guarded because I'm afraid. He says, I'm selective because I respect my heart. And when he does finally open up, it's not from weakness and it's from strength. His words come with weight because they're rare. His truth feels sacred because he doesn't offer it freely. That's the paradox. The less you reveal early, the more she craves to know you. Because mystery, when mixed with emotional depth, becomes magnetic. So don't confuse silence with coldness. Your quiet strength tells her, I'm not afraid to feel. I'm just not giving my soul away for free. And when she finally earns your vulnerability, she won't take it for granted. Because she'll know she's seeing a side of you the world never gets to see. That's when your connection becomes real. Not emotional chaos, but emotional mastery. And that's exactly why high-value men hide their vulnerabilities until they're earned. 7. Their long-term strategy. Have you ever met a man who moves quietly, but everything he does feels intentional? He doesn't brag about his next move. Because let's be honest, mystery is magnetic. A man who has a map but doesn't show it keeps her wondering, what is he building? What's next for him? And that curiosity keeps her invested. Now here's the Stoic lesson. If you want to master your life, stop broadcasting your blueprint. Don't reveal your dreams to those who haven't proven they can handle them. Build in silence. Let the results make the noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The secret of all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious." Meaning, your power doesn't lie in what people see, but in what they don't see. Your quiet planning, your internal discipline, your late nights when no one is watching. That's where real progress happens. So, if you're a man watching this right now, let me ask you, Do you tell people about your plans before you take action? Do you seek validation before results? Or do you trust your path so deeply that you can walk it alone until it manifests? Because high-value men don't need applause. They don't crave approval. They understand that their long-term strategy is not meant to be understood. It's meant to be executed. Every time you stay quiet about your next move, you feed your inner strength. You train your discipline. You keep control over your direction. So next time someone asks, "What's your plan?" Smile, say, "You'll see soon," and then go back to building. Because the man who hides his long-term strategy is the man who never has to chase recognition. He earns it when the results speak for themselves. 8. Their emotional attachment. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that it scared you? You felt like your world started revolving around them. Their texts made your heart race. Their silence made your mind spiral. You wanted to be calm, strong, composed, but your emotions kept slipping through the cracks. Every man has been there, even the strongest ones, even the Stoics. But here's what separates a high-value man from the rest. He feels deeply, but he doesn't hand over his emotional control. He guards his emotional attachment like a sacred flame, warm, powerful but contained. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. A Stoic man lives by this truth. He knows that emotions are part of life, but attachment, if left unchecked, can enslave him.